We'll look at why so many people are leaving Colorado today. Since it was first counted in the census in the 1870s, Colorado's population has always gone up. In fact, the only decade in which Colorado's population grew by less than 10% was the 1940s, when it grew by only 8.4%. In a couple of other decades, Colorado's population grew by more than 100%, 387% in 1880 and 112% in 1890, which is a lot of growth. However, that may be about to change. Data shows that Colorado's population growth is slowing down a bit, but the state's population is still expected to keep growing because of a higher birth rate and a lower death rate. Why is population growth slowing? More people are leaving Colorado than are moving there. Got it? Good. Let's look at number 10, the weather. Colorado's weather is a mix of high elevation, middle latitude, and continental interior. This gives most of the state a cool, dry climate. If you go up into the Rockies, you'll find a lot of snow, but most of the state is pretty dry. I know that if you've never been there and don't study geography or anything like that, you might think that all of Colorado is mountains with trees and snow, and that everyone skis and stays in their cabins as preppers, but that's not the case. The eastern side of the state, east of Denver, is pretty flat and, in my opinion, kind of desert-like. There is a lot of farmland out there, but the weather can get pretty cold. This, of course, leads to Colorado is one of those places where even in Kit Carson it can get pretty cool old. I went through there once and the streets are very big. I don't know why there's almost no traffic, but a lot of people say that the weather is why they're leaving Colorado or not going there. The ninth, the government Colorado's politics are complicated to say the least. It used to be a swing state, but in recent years conservatives have been leaving for states like Texas and Arizona. It's kind of strange that so many states are like this. Colorado, Washington, Oregon, and California. One side of the state is red and the other side is blue, but more and more, Colorado is kind of blurring those lines. Some people don't like it, so they're leaving. I can kind of see why. You want to be around people who share your views, and if you start seeing people around you who don't share those views, you might leave. I'd stay and hope it changes, but some people just pack up and leave. Colorado's cost of life is getting money at a pretty good rate. Since the pandemic and the recovery from it, the cost of living has gone up in all but one state, Mississippi. Colorado's cost of living has been going up faster than everyone else for about 6 years. Some say it could have been longer, but it was definitely around 6 years ago that they started consistently outpacing all the other western states. This is getting to a lot of people. Colorado is the 7th worst state for air quality, which is strange because it's known for its outdoors. Outdoors usually means clean, pure, and all that good stuff, but they have bad air there. People with severe asthma shouldn't live in Colorado, at least most of Colorado. When you look at 2021's wildfire season and how many acres were burned, Colorado comes in 8th. California is the worst. Colorado came in at number 8 with a loss of 150,000 acres. A little further east, in Illinois, they lost less than 1,000 acres. This means that their fire season lasts a long time, which is bad for the air quality. Number 6 was jobs. Colorado isn't really struggling to find jobs, and it doesn't have terrible poverty rates or anything like that. There are states that are much worse. It's just that a lot of people from Colorado are being hired in other states with a lower cost of living, where they could make the same amount of money as they did in Colorado. That one's pretty basic. A lot of people said they were leaving for work, but don't take that the wrong way. Even though Colorado has a good economy and all, people leave for other work or to retire. A lot of people are leaving Colorado to retire. There are a few reasons for this: the wildfires, the air quality, and the cold weather. Some retirees leave because they don't want to stay in a place with bad air quality and cold weather. Others leave because they want to find cheaper housing and lower costs of living. A lot of the things on this list are related to retirement, but a lot of people say they're moving because of retirement. I mean, when you retire, you want to lay on a beach somewhere, but there aren't many beaches in Colorado. In general, there aren't that many homeless people in Colorado. I think that the states are ranked 15th or 18th based on which study or statistic you look at, so it's not that bad. The most homeless people are in Denver. They're not too bad in the country. They're ranked 13th or 14th, depending on which study you look at. But the people who are leaving Colorado have a big problem with the number of homeless people there now. I always have to say this. I have nothing against homeless people. Most of the time, they're in bad situations because of mental illness or drug abuse. But when there are a lot of homeless people, there are a lot of problems that need to be solved. It's sad, but people don't want to be around it all the time, so they move. I doubt if you drive all the way out to the unincorporated community of Last Chance, Colorado, you're going to find many homeless. With a population of 23 people, with numbers like that, if George gets in Dutch with his wife and has to spend the night in his car, you've got a homeless epidemic in your city or unincorporated community. Side note, in 2012, a wildfire burnt most of that town. But yeah, people list homelessness as a reason they're leaving or not moving to Colorado. Number 3, the crime rate. Okay, so Colorado's crime isn't that bad if you look at their property crime. That's kind of big. They're ranked like 8th in the nation. But their violent crime rate, they're ranked 21st in the nation. Now those are 2021 numbers. Complete 2022 numbers are not available yet. Things can change, but not that much. Of course, you're going to find a majority of the crime in their biggest cities like Denver. More people means more problems, and for most crime comes from people living on top of each other. If you look at population density graphs and crime rate graphs, they sort of mimic each other. So the crime rate in Colorado isn't as bad as I think a lot of people think it is. They have some crime, but if you compare it to some of the other states and the other major cities, it doesn't stack up as Colorado being the safest state in the nation. Absolutely not. Is it near the worst? No. But whatever's going on there, enough people put it down. Is it something that's driving them out of the state? If you're one of those people and you want to get out of Colorado because of the crime, I think your best bet is moving to upper New England like Maine. Even though it gets a little cold in New Hampshire and Vermont in the winter, they are the best states we have. This has been a problem for Colorado for a while, and people who have lived there for a long time can't stand it. Home prices in Colorado have risen faster than in most other states in the area, with the exception of California, whose prices are so high that they don't count. In January 2020, the median listing price in Colorado was $400,000, and it reached its highest point in June 2022 when it hit $583,000. As a side note, it's down a bit, just like almost every other real estate market in the country right now. It's down to $571,000. Over the last few decades, Colorado's housing prices have been between 15 and 20% higher than the national average. This is driving a lot of people out of the state. I would have liked to stay near my family when I first moved to Oregon, but once Facebook and other things came along, we mostly kept in touch that way, even though we all live in the same city and state. Some people don't use Facebook and would really just like to be near their family, which is why they move. Usually it's the older people who move closer to their families. As you get older, you want to be close to your family, especially if you have grandkids and want to be able to go to their soccer games and graduations. This is especially important as you get older.